Good evening, Soul Tribe community. Good evening. It is your girl, Goddess Trinity, coming in at 12:34 a.m. on this big full moon energy, the snow moon. And as I was sitting here thinking that I was going to go to sleep, Spirit said, "Yeah, let's go ahead on and talk to the people." And I do it my way. Comfortably, I'm sitting here in my PJs, and it's like, yeah, I know over time that it will get more and more better, but right now, I have took away the word out of my complete energy field of perfectionism, which stopped me in thinking that I had to look a certain way, be a certain way, have things based off of what I see people do that got 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the game, or even come from a family that's been doing it for lineages. It's amazing when we put ourselves up against other people and we don't even begin to be ourselves. And even in that, if you do that, you are still running and not being you. So yeah, I could have did it all types of ways. I could have had my mic and all the stuff. But that's not going to take away the message. And if anything, this message right now is more raw and uncut and real as the flow come in. So as I am grounded on this floor and as the full moon is illuminating through my window, the message is going to be the message. So here we are. Where do I begin? So when you are doing any type of inner work or you are wanting to accomplish things new and your self-talk is a little more stern than what you would like to tell people. It's a little more like, oh my gosh, do I really talk to myself that way? And if you bring it out to light to people, you'll make it jokingly because you know that, damn, I do speak to myself kind of harsh, but I don't need no one to know that, nor do I want them to say anything because I already know. And then yet, here we are, and you don't really want to be speaking to yourself like that, but you do. And really, it doesn't generate anything, not in the desire of living the best life and speaking life into yourself. You're actually very overcritical of yourself and very overjudgmental. And so I know this energy too well because it used to fall in with a lot of my thoughts. See, I am a thinker and you are as well. And when you are thinking things, and if you are overcritical, overjudgmental, and all the things, you will definitely have that opposite of your positive thought come in. And most of the time, the opposite is going to be loud, very loud. You're going to see the writing on the wall, and your algorithm is just going to shift. And you battle yourself. And instead of coming out and saying, why am I doing this? What is going on? You continue to be in denial and just walk around. And some people will say, well, Crystal, I got to focus on the positive, got to focus on the positive, because if I focus on the negative, this, that, and the third. And while I agree, I do. But it's not the fact that you are focusing on the positive. It's the fact that you are denying that you are overcritical and overjudgmental for yourself. And if you do not correct that behavior, it don't make a difference how much you focus on the positive. It's still always going to play a factor. You have to actually physically shift your mindset and stop being so hard on yourself to generate a possible result, because you don't have to. Now, granted, most of us have learned through pain and suffering, struggle and strife. And while I get that, you are grown and you can make decisions for the betterment of you. But it's going to be up to you what you want to do. I was talking to someone, I've been talking to a bunch of people, and I've noticed that people are walking around, with a lot of information. They really are. And I know that because I attract people either where I was or where I am. And this is where I was. And so when it's a where I was, I am placed in, because my purpose of providing advice, healing, whatever it is, teacher, mentor, whatever it is, to be able to be that liaison to get them to their truest heart desires. It's amazing how things just shift for me. And so I remember when years ago, I would know all the things, right? I would just know them. It was a backstory. So about 6, 7 years ago, yeah, because that was actually my opening awareness. I went to a spiritual festival where they had vendors and all types of stuff, and there was this woman giving my husband, like, she just came up to him. His uncle had just passed, and she could see spirits and said all the things. And so it was very emotional and all that. And so I'm pretty much waiting for my message. I'm a Leo. I love attention. I'm going to tell you that now. Yep, I do. And sometimes I do make it all about me. But in essence, it's always in good favor. It's just who I am. And I don't want to change who I am for nobody, nor will I. So I'm looking for a message. However, instead of me asking, I went in a roundabout way and was like, well, I guess for me to get a message, I need to book a reading. That's exactly what I said. And actually, this is the first time I'm bringing this out to light. So here we are, right? And so she looked at me and she was like, well, no, not really. She said, but it's already in you. And I'm looking at this woman like, what? Y'all, when I tell you I was a baby in the game, like a fetus, 2 weeks old maybe, 2 days, zero, maybe still in gestation, that part. And so I'm looking at this woman and I am clueless. And she's like, you have it already. No, it's in you. You just need to go within. And I'm looking at my body. She's pointing at me, y'all. And I'm looking like, okay, do I need to open my belly? And I know I can be very comical, but this was my thoughts. And she could tell I wasn't getting it. And so she was like, man, your ancestors, boy, they are loud. They're cussing out. Like, what? They cuss. And she was like, I don't really want to repeat. And me at that time, I didn't really care. They could have been saying whatever. It's the fact of that you are bringing me some information I never heard. You are communicating with my ancestors, which I hadn't had that yet. So it wouldn't make a difference what they were saying. Hey, hello, can we have a conversation here? And so she shared some stuff with me. And I say, they curse? And she said, they pretty much saying, you don't need me. It's in you. And I'm just looking at this woman. And she could really tell that I was cool. So we talked and all the things. But it wasn't until, years later that I was like, man, it is in me. I could be placed in places and spaces, and some stuff would just come out of me. Same with you. And I'd be like, well, damn, where the hell did this come from? And some of it I decided to go deeper in because it aligned with my purpose, and guidance is a thing. And invest in myself is also a thing. And I was like, okay, but it was always within me. But I'm gonna tell you what, that can actually be a fucked up cookie to have. Because when you think you know it all, or when you do have it, it's just surface level. My spiritual mother and one of my sisters would say, my spiritual mother would say, you haven't grokked it. And my sister would say, you haven't ingested, you haven't processed it. You haven't put it on, you haven't taken it off, you haven't walked in it, you haven't talked in it. And back then, they was right, even though I did not want to admit that. I was pretty much walking around like a computer that hadn't been defragged. And I was experiencing little minuscule of those lights, right? It's like, ooh, but guess what? That was enough for me at that time because I could not walk away from the comforts that I created in my pain and suffering, because that's all that I knew. And something outside of that, I grew up in knowing, oh yeah, those things come like a dime a dozen. We call those miracles. It's like when you work all the time and you finally decide 6 years in the game that you're going to finally take a vacation, and then you get away and it's amazing. But then on your drive back or your fly back in, oh well, here we go. And to make it where you can function, well, let me just doll this shit up. Let me doll it up. Let me put this here. Let me buy a couple things. Let me put some material, because material will then make you feel like you are doing something within your pain and suffering. Because most of us was told, to make it in this world, you need to work, and boom. You work and you boom that part, right? No, no. That keep you in fight or flight all the goddamn time. All the time. It really does. So, yeah, walking around needing to be defragged. And it's like, how can you want to experience greater than when you haven't released the less than? You know what happens when you defrag a computer? It starts to optimize performance, start running better. The websites start loading faster. Your RAM is doing its thing. That bad boy is running at optimal speed. Why? Because what was done? The action. Not putting more information in it and keep clogging that bitch up. It's like, no. And some people are afraid that when they let things go, that all their experience and wisdom and knowledge is going to go with it. No, that is not fucking possible. It's not. What you are releasing is really the story that you continue to create over and over and tell, and the emotions that comes from the story, and then the outcome of it. And you keep replaying that bitch. And the more you replay it, the more you take what came from 1972 and you bring it back to 2024. So when you bring 1972 to 2024, you wonder why the things that you put on your vision board, your journal, wherever you put it for 2024 looks like it's sitting in 2030. Stop bringing motherfucking stories from 10, 15, 5, 2 years ago to the surface. Now, unless you bringing it this one time to transmute that shit, then do that and let it go. Because that is how you heal, release, and action to step forward. But if you just bringing it because you want your community to support you and your victim or whatever, because I tell people there is a community for everybody. There is a community if your little toe is bigger than your big toe. What does community look like for you? Do you even know? Because most of people don't have that clarified. But they quickly walk around and say, I want like-minded people and all the things. And it's like, but what is your like-mindedness? What are you attracting? Because what you are attracting is your like-mindedness. If you want something different, then speak that, be clear on that, become that so you can attract that. But sometimes that's just too much to ask for because you still sitting over here in glorified shit and it no longer stinks no more. It don't. It smells like geranium roses, non-chopper, some Palo Santo, some cooked soul food macaroni and cheese. It smelled like amethyst crystals if they had a smell. It smelled like money. It smelled like sex on the beach. That's what it smelled like. But when the scent begins to fade, because it does, and you put the new pile of poop on top because you're going to bring the story back again. So you got a fresh pile of poop. Then you're doing it all over again because you're not releasing it. But you know it though. You know what it's for you to do. You've experienced something and you know, but you got that mental block. You got that block. You don't think you can. You don't think you're worthy. You don't think you deserve. Got some guilt, some shame, some embarrassment. How could you? Well, what do you mean, how could you? How could you not? You came here to experience infinite range of experience. That don't mean that you're supposed to be walking around goody two shoes and all the things and love and light and celebration time. Come on. You have infinite range of all. And the more you continue to hide from yourself, the more you will continue not to experience the fruits of your labor. The ones that you want, unless the fruits of your labor is where you are sitting at. And if that's the case, then this is a whole nother story. And I can very easily help you to distort the code on this one. All you got to do is say, I accept, and then move on. People don't understand that that word right there frees a lot, especially if you don't want to change, because you don't have to. It's a decision. It's a choice. But if you say this is how you like your life, then don't complain and say, I accept. I had a person a long time ago, I'm not going to share the story, but this person was going through something. And I was doing everything in my power. And then I was like, wait a minute. This is how they want to live their life. And I said, well, okay, well, accept it. Because once you accept it, you release the shackles that you created around not feeling accepted in it. And let me tell you something. That is the fastest way. Now, if you lie to yourself, it ain't going to work. It's going to come back amplified. Because anything you bring light to, it is going to say, hey, here I am. Here I am. What we doing? We barbecuing? We meal doing? I know you're not transmuting me. We done been together. We ride or die. We loyalty. Come on now. You can't get rid of me, bullshit. Bullshit. Yeah, well, I created that. That's what's up. Now I'm creating something different. And it's okay. Actually, it's better than okay. So it's something because this conversation started one way and now here I am. And yet I feel very complete. I'm sitting here Indian style. And yeah, that is the message on this full moon. At whatever time it is, let's see where I'm at. 12:55. So yeah, are you walking around not defragged? You know all the information. You know what to do, and yet you still ain't done it. So it's something because, I'm growing my YouTube channel. So make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and share, right? I actually had someone that hit the option on the freebie, so that's what's up. So I'm gonna hold off on the freebies because I did get one, but I do want another one though, and I will bring it back up, that part. But if you are wanting to step in to your greatness and you want some guidance, some assistance, I have a couple different services, but the one that I am going to speak on tonight on this recording is one of my energy clearing sessions. They are phenomenal. I've been doing them for a very long time, and they generate results. Now, it's something I have not ever given what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Damn it, I can't think of the word, but it'll come to me. But I've not ever given a, okay, if this happens, da 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 da, wherever that word is, I know y'all got me. So I'm a road opener. I open roads. I clear pathways. So what does that mean for you? That means you must be willing and committed and ready to do the work. Because if not, then you're going to run. So what's that song? She's a runner. She's a track star. She gonna run away when it gets hard. That part. Then you don't want to work with Crystal. You don't. You don't want to work with God's Trinity. It's not gonna do you a service. It's just not. I am from the ones that just say, look, you know what? I know that it's better because I've seen it, and I just need this right here. God, is you are the spiritual liaison to that, and that I got you 100%. We can do this thing. Like we can make stuff shake. I will hold space and do the things. I'm not going to go to the particulars on all of it. You can actually go to my website, www.neptunesgate, which is NEPTUNES gate, GATE.com. There is a description there and book a session with me. If you do have questions, though, reach out to me. And if you follow me, then you know how to reach out. But for any new ones, you can reach me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all the things. Everything is in the link up there. So, energy clearing. It will assist you in those beautiful blocks that you have placed. Everyone is like an onion. I used to say this when I was in corporate America. Everyone is like an onion with their experiences in life. We have layers to ourselves, right? But I will peel back that layer and get to the core because the core, the root, is where it's at. And when we get there, oh baby, it's on the popping. So, with that being said, happy full moon to everyone that is listening now. If you listen later and ain't full moon, well, you know what? Happy living the life that is so destined to be yours. And know that you can have it in just believing and doing. This is God's Trinity. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and share. And if there is something that you want me to talk about, then let me know. Send it to me. Take care. Peace.